Heavy fighting continues in eastern Ukraine as President Putin threatens to attack new targets if Western countries supply Kyiv with long-range missiles. And in sports news, Wales beat Ukraine 1-0 in Cardiff to qualify for the World Cup for the first time in 64 years. Despite the ongoing conflict, Ukrainian fans were able to gather to watch the match in some parts of the country. Here's James Waterhouse in Kyiv.
You can't help but feel for the Ukrainian fans on full time. They politely applauded the Welsh victors, but you can just see there's a bit of a hush now. This is the quietest it's been all night at this sports bar. It was filled with fans really getting behind their team, but people are just disappointed. In their words, they wanted something to celebrate. They wanted to raise the morale of the soldiers who are fighting in other parts of the country. And it wasn't to be on this occasion. That said, others are saying it's just a game, and for a brief 90 minutes it was a chance to forget about everything else and get behind the national men's side.
The UK is sending its first long-range missiles to Ukraine, despite a threat from Vladimir Putin that such a move could prompt Russian strikes on new targets.
The Defence Secretary Ben Wallace confirmed the decision after the US made a similar announcement last week.
Let's speak to our correspondent Joe Inwood, who's in Kyiv for us this morning. And Joe, this is a potentially significant moment, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So the fight that we're seeing now in the east of the country really is an artillery battle. And Russia brings some of the biggest guns to this game. They've got these huge, long-range, multiple-launch rocket systems and massive artillery pieces. And they've used those over the course of this war to pound Ukrainian positions, to pound them into submission. We saw that in Mariupol, and we've been seeing it to some extent in Severodonetsk recently as well. Now, these new systems, the ones being announced by the British and the Americans, aren't going to match them in terms of firepower. What they will do, though, is match them in terms of range, but more importantly, accuracy. What these are is GPS-guided systems, we understand, and that will allow them to accurately target Russian positions. So whereas the Russians send over mass barrages of artillery, they pound areas to smithereens, which is why you see so many civilian casualties, so much destruction of towns and cities and population centres. What these will be able to do, we understand, is to accurately target within, say, 5 meters using GPS technology, the places that they want to hit. Now, that will mean when you get these counter barrages, these artillery battles, the Ukrainians will be able to be much more accurate, and that will allow them to quickly wear down the Russian capabilities. Now, of course, the challenge is not just promising these systems, but delivering them, getting them into the front lines and getting people trained up in their use. That is not going to happen straight away, but when it does, when these systems get into the fight, people are saying they could be a real game changer.